Ladies and gentlemen, I am Brad Browning, YouTube's #1 most trusted breakup coach with over 12 years of experience helping people like you get back together with an ex. And in this video, I'll be sharing some of my very best tips and tactics to win back your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. Now, these are some of the most effective, proven techniques that I've seen work for my coaching clients over and over again. And I'm also going to be including a couple of brand new tricks that I've never publicly shared before, so watch to the end if you want to hear all of my juiciest ex-back tactics and advice. But let's not waste any more time here. Without further ado, here's tip #1 for getting your ex to come running back to you. Folks, it doesn't get any more basic than this, but it also doesn't get much more critical than this either. Here's the thing. Most people in your situation, when you're facing the possibility of the person you love slipping out of your life forever, are feeling desperate. And I totally understand that. I mean, it's a natural reaction after you've been dumped or gone through a tough breakup. You desperately want to do something, anything, to get your ex to change their mind and take you back. But the problem is, acting on that desperation or those post-breakup emotions is almost always a bad idea. You just cannot rush the process of changing your ex's mind about breaking up. You cannot show any kind of desperation at all either, and not just during the early phases, but throughout the entire process. Desperation is an attraction killer. So trust me on this, I've seen many of my clients make this mistake, despite my best efforts to talk them out of it. But if you appear too desperate, if you try to push your ex by contacting them too frequently or begging and pleading with them, it's only going to make your situation worse. So take a step back for a minute and think about things from your ex's perspective. Would you be attracted to an ex who won't stop bothering you? Would you be attracted to somebody who seems to have nothing else going on in their life except chasing after you? Would you be more or less likely to want to take somebody back if they begged and pleaded and tried to talk you into giving them another chance? Well, obviously the answer is no to all of those questions, right? So by trying to rush the process, by trying to reach out to your ex frequently, by trying to talk them into giving your relationship another try, you're only pushing them further away. And again, this is something you absolutely need to keep in mind throughout the entire process of winning back your ex, which of course is why that I've made it the very first tip here in this video. So never ever get too eager or too excited around your ex, and never force things or try to rush it. Now look, I've said this many times before in my past videos, but unfortunately not every relationship can or should be salvaged. Sometimes things might just be so broken that it's just not possible to ever realistically have a chance at getting back together. Now, I know that sucks to hear, but it is the truth, and many relationships can and should be revived, but in some cases, it's just not realistic or even wise to try. So how do you know whether your situation fits into this beyond saving category? How do you know if you've still got a chance of turning things around with your ex? Well, honestly, the best way to find out is to just take my 5-minute free quiz. Just go to breakupbrad.com/quiz, answer a few questions about your breakup situation, and then the quiz will evaluate your answers and generate a comprehensive report that breaks down your chances with your ex and where you stand right now. Again, you can just take that for free at breakupbrad.com/quiz and see for yourself whether there's still hope for winning back your ex. Now, if you take the quiz and it says that your situation is hopeless, which is usually, honestly, it's fairly uncommon, but it does happen. In those cases, then please think long and hard about whether you should continue to pursue your ex. In dire situations like this, it's usually best to start moving on and focus on finding somebody new rather than continuing to chase after an ex who either isn't right for you or who isn't ever really going to be willing to give you a second chance. Now, if your quiz score is in the low 60s or above, so let's say you score anything above 62, 63, that indicates that you still have a chance. And if you score above 75 or so, then you have plenty of reason to be optimistic, and you should still be able to get back together with your ex, assuming that you play your cards right from this point forwards. Yes, no contact. I know you've already heard about this strategy many times before. And you know why this technique is something that I recommend so frequently and in all of my videos? It's because it works. It works extremely well in the vast majority of breakup situations. And if you don't want to take my word for it, please check out any of my other YouTube videos that are about no contact, and just take a quick look at the comments section. You're going to see literally hundreds of people commenting on those videos to say how well no contact worked for them. And that's honestly just the tip of the iceberg. I get emails on a daily basis from my viewers and from clients who've used no contact and ended up back with their ex. So here's just a quick few examples of that. So clearly it has worked for many people out there, and it can work for you. So let me explain briefly why no contact is so powerful. Well, first, it's because this strategy essentially shocks your ex into learning what life is like without you around. So instead of slowly fading out of your ex's life, you're forcing them to experience it cold turkey. You know, they won't be able to just call you and chat whenever they miss you, and they won't have that feeling of comfort knowing that you're still around anytime they want to talk or hang out. So it's critical that you give your ex that kind of a shock treatment rather than allowing them to slowly get used to life without you. Secondly, no contact is the exact opposite of what your ex is going to be expecting you to do. So most people, and just because it's the most natural reaction after a breakup, tend to cling to their ex for as long as possible. You know, they reach out regularly, they try to stay friends, and they just generally end up serving as an emotional dumping ground for their ex. So by doing the opposite of what your ex is expecting you to do, you're really taking control of the situation, and you're kind of shifting the balance of power into your favor. So now, when you engage in a period of no contact, you have the power to decide when your ex gets to hang out with you or talk with you, and they're suddenly facing a situation that they didn't anticipate when they planned to break up. Third, no contact gives your ex time to let go of negative memories and emotions. So as I've talked about in several of my other videos in the past, all humans have a natural tendency to forget bad memories and to let go of negative thoughts and emotions after a certain period of time. Now, this is actually it's a natural coping mechanism that's evolved over thousands of years of human evolution. Really, when you think about it, we just can't dwell on negatives for long, or else we'd spend all of our lives in a state of depression. So you can use that fact to your advantage by giving your ex time to start forgetting about the negative aspects of your relationship. And this will, given time, happen on its own without you really having to do anything other than engage in a period of no contact. Now, studies have shown that this will peak around 28 to 30 days after the breakup. So by employing a 30-day no contact period, you're allowing enough time for those negative emotions and memories to fade into the back of your ex's mind. Now, I like to say that this is basically like resetting your ex's brain to an emotional neutral state. And additionally, another benefit to no contact is that it gives you time to just kind of chill out and to reset your own emotions. So you definitely don't want to be acting on emotion when you talk with your ex, and you often can't think straight during those early stages after a breakup. So by ignoring your ex for a few weeks, you put yourself back into a much better frame of mind. And by the end of the no contact period, you're going to be far less likely to act desperate or to say something to your ex that might hurt your chances or push them away unintentionally. Finally, no contact allows you some time to focus on yourself. So during no contact, which I've actually recently started to refer to as dynamic no contact, to kind of highlight the important self-improvement aspect, during that time you need to be keeping busy. You want to be meeting new friends and just generally living an interesting, exciting life. This is going to make you a more interesting, more appealing person to your ex when you do begin talking to them again. And it's going to put you in a better position to reattract them once the no contact period is over. Again, to summarize the key takeaway here, folks, no contact is very powerful and effective in almost every breakup. So if you want to learn more about how to use no contact properly and how to maximize the benefits of it, click the little icon in the corner here and just watch my previous comprehensive tutorial video that I made to talk all about no contact. I'll also link to a couple of other related no contact videos in the description below, including one video that covers the 3 types of situations where you should not use no contact. It's rare, but there are a couple, so check out that video after this one. Okay, I know what you're thinking. How the hell is hanging out with my friends and family going to help me get my ex back? Well, hear me out, because this is actually something that I've started to recommend more and more to my clients lately, because I've come to really see how valuable this actually is. So first of all, chilling with friends and family is usually enjoyable. So it's a great way to just keep your mind off your ex and off the breakup and to live in the moment. Now, this is especially true if you avoid talking to your ex when you're with friends, and instead you just sort of have fun hanging out. And secondly, you're going to quickly find that hanging out with friends and family can be a powerful tool for sort of rebuilding your own confidence and your self-esteem. So your friends and family like you, at least I hope they do, and hanging out with people that enjoy your company is a great ego boost. So it's going to make you feel more confident in yourself, and it's going to help you realize that you're really an awesome catch for anyone of the opposite sex, including your ex, who would be crazy to let someone as well-liked and as attractive as you walk out of their life. Now, this is also a great time to reconnect with old friends that maybe you haven't talked to much lately. So if there's someone out there that you used to hang out with a lot, that you've sort of fallen out of touch with, well, reach out and spark up a conversation. Revive that old friendship, or even just try to make new friends. Again, this is a big confidence booster, but it's also a way to come up with new things to talk to your ex about when you do see them again and start talking to them again. You can tell them about how you recently saw an old friend. You can talk about plans you've made with a new friend and that kind of stuff. Just gives you something to talk about. So please take my word on this one. Being around other people in social settings, whether that's just reconnecting with old friends or even just hanging out with your family more often, it's going to help you and your own state of mind, and it's going to improve your chances of getting back together with your ex. This is a mistake that I see my clients and followers make constantly. So you've employed a period of no contact and you've started to open the lines of communication with your ex again. Maybe you're exchanging text messages or phone calls, and then eventually you're going to hang out with their ex in person. And of course, you want them to take you back. So naturally, you try to talk about the old relationship. You rehash drama and disagreements from the time when you were still together. Maybe you're just doing this to try and explain to your ex how you've changed since the breakup, or how things are going to be different if they take you back and start over. But this kind of approach is 100% guaranteed to ruin your chances. Trust me, guys, if you want your ex back, you need to make every conversation and hangout session with your ex enjoyable. So you want your ex to end a conversation with you thinking to themselves, well, that was fun. And you want your text messages to make your ex smile or make them laugh when they read them. What you do not want, under any circumstances, is to remind your ex of the problems that plagued your old relationship. You don't want them to end a conversation thinking to themselves, ugh, more drama again. You want your ex to always have a good time when they see you or when they talk to you, and not be reminded of old problems or old disagreements from the past. So don't ever try to bring up, serious relationship topics with your ex until you're fully back together. In the meantime, keep it light, keep it fun, and make sure it's enjoyable for your ex. All right, now this ties into my previous tip, and it's just as important. But really, you don't ever want to outwardly display any kind of jealousy around your ex. Now, I know it's painful and frustrating to hear rumors that your ex may have gone on a date with somebody new, and I know you desperately want to ask them about it, but don't. Act like you don't give a flying fuck about your ex's love life since the breakup. Don't give any sense that you're jealous about anything, even if you're feeling the complete opposite on the inside. Instead, really just pretend that you don't care at all about who your ex is seeing or what they're doing with their spare time. As I mentioned before, avoid drama and just keep things fun for your ex. Jealousy obviously isn't fun, and it certainly isn't attractive, so do your absolute best to never show any kind of jealousy around your ex. Now, I'm not talking about anything really egregious here, guys. When I say mind games, I don't mean lying to your ex or manipulating them in some way. I just mean that it can be very useful to use some basic human psychology to your advantage in order to win your ex back. So let me give you two examples. Example number one, texting. So when you get a text out from your ex, out of the blue, always wait an hour or two before you reply. Remember, you're playing the role of a busy, confident person who's ready to move on. So if you're willing to wait a little while before you reply to your ex's texts, it's going to make them wonder what you were doing and subconsciously assume that you're out doing interesting stuff and living a great life without them. And also related to texting, be the one to end conversations. So let your ex send the last message in any back and forth texting exchange. Again, this isn't really sneaky or immoral stuff. You're just making a small effort to quietly be the one to end most conversations with your ex. It's kind of a power play of sorts, where you're sort of just asserting your own value as a person and your confidence in life in general. And this, of course, is attractive behavior to your ex, and it's going to subtly and subconsciously shift the way they think about you in a positive way. And the second mind game example is my covert jealousy tactic. Now, I talk a lot about this technique in the full tutorial video on my website, breakupbrad.com, but essentially, covert jealousy allows you to subtly hint to your ex that you might be dating again, even if you're not actually doing so, and it allows you to do that in a safe and effective way. Now, this puts your ex under some pressure to decide if they're sure about the breakup, and this can actually often on its own be enough to make your ex decide to ask for you for a second chance. And this kind of urgency is really critical to winning back your ex. So it certainly helps if you're willing to use a tactic like covert jealousy to your advantage. Again, if you want to learn more about how to use this particular covert jealousy technique properly, just go to my full video presentation at breakupbrad.com after this one's over and give it a watch. But in summary, guys, if you're willing to use a bit of basic human psychology to your advantage by playing some sneaky but harmless mind games on your ex, it's definitely going to help your cause. So a lot of people find themselves in unique or unusual situations that some of my general advice doesn't fully cover. And in those cases, please consider signing up for my one-on-one coaching service to get my help on an ongoing basis as your situation develops. So when you sign up, I'll learn about your situation, I'll give you some advice for moving forward, and I'll continue to correspond with you as things develop and change and as you have more questions about how to maximize your chances of getting them back. So to learn more about my coaching, see my current availability, and sign up right now, just go to breakupbrad.com/coaching. Now this one I think is pretty self-explanatory, but really you should always try your absolute best to avoid worrying about things that are out of your control. So, did you hear a rumor about your ex that they've been dating somebody new? Well, there's nothing that you can do to change that. So really, it's out of your control. And therefore, it's just not worth stressing about or even thinking about. Or maybe, are you worried maybe that your ex isn't posting sad lyrics and breakup quotes on social media after the breakup? Maybe you're worried that you think that might mean that they're not missing you and they've already moved on. Well, again, that's just not a useful train of thought. It's totally out of your control. You can't change how they're feeling, or you really can't accurately read into what it means that they're not posting breakup quotes on social media. And so that means it's not worth worrying about. So push it out of your mind and focus on the other things that you can control. In fact, take it from the martial arts legend Georges St-Pierre. He says it best. Okay guys, my final tip today is a very important one. Now, since you're watching this video right now, I'm assuming you're doing your homework. You're learning about how to get a second chance with your ex by researching online and by watching videos like this one. And that is great, and I absolutely applaud you for taking action to make sure you do things properly to maximize your chances. And you will get a lot of very savvy, very effective advice and tips from breakup coaches like myself. Now, of course, not all of the stuff you'll read online is correct or trustworthy, but much of it really is good advice that will actually help you out. And you can definitely trust all of the strategies and techniques that I teach in my X Factor program and here on my YouTube channel. But while learning and researching is great, you need to actually apply these techniques in order for them to actually work. So you can't just learn all about how effective no contact is and then only apply it for 5 days before you give up and start spamming your ex again. No contact just doesn't work if you only do it for 5 days, And the same is really true for most of what I teach. You need to actually apply what you learn in videos like this one, exactly the way that I describe, in order for it to be truly effective. So if you don't have the self-discipline to stick with it and have faith in the proven techniques that you learn about, they're simply not going to work. So if you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. Have faith, apply what I've taught you in this video and in my full tutorial at breakupbrad.com, and stick with it until it works. All right, there you have it, guys. That's 10 pieces of advice to get your ex back as quickly as possible. I hope you learned something, and I hope you're able to get out there and use these tips to get a second chance with your ex. As always, if you have a quick question or a bit of feedback for me, please drop it a comment below the video. I read every single one of your comments, and I also try to respond to as many as I can. So thanks a lot for commenting, for liking, subscribing, and for watching this one all the way to the end. I will see you guys again soon.